Hello, my name is Patrick Kelly, and I'm the pastor of River Point Church in Richmond, Texas, and I want to talk to you about what's working at River Point. You might have noticed over my shoulder, right over here, a strange sight. For the last 2 years, this young deer has become part of this herd of cows that we have on our church property. We had a naming contest and we named the deer Bluebell after my favorite ice cream. Well, we wondered, does this deer think it's a cow? Well, after a year or so, we just couldn't stand it anymore. So we called up to Texas A&M University and we invited a livestock behaviorist, Professor Clear, to come observe this phenomena and tell us what he thought. Here's what Dr. Clear had to say.
From my perspective is churches are designed to bring people together and provide comfort and support groups in the good and the bad of the lives that things go on. And I think that deer, this herd of cows, was that support group for that deer and that family. And it's just like any church family.
So you're saying the deer is a Christian? Is that what you're saying?
I did not say that.
I think Dr. Clear was right. And it struck us. Our county was just named the most racially diverse county in the United States. So what's working at River Point is reaching this diverse county with the gospel of Christ so that our fellowship reflects this diverse area. It's not easy to do. I must admit, I've been white most all my life, and we are committed to being authentic. So how can we be authentic and yet be diverse? I think the good professor's right. Everybody is looking for a herd that is safe, connected, and looks out for each other. Racial diversity in our church doesn't just happen, and it doesn't just happen in your church because you want it to happen or because you pray about it happen. You have to be intentional. Here's what we did. First of all, I admitted to the church for my desire to be diverse because of our community, but I also admitted my ignorance. I think this is the thing that helped us the most. I asked for grace up front. Is it black? Is it African American? Is it Latino? Is it Hispanic? I mean, what is it that we are supposed to say? I don't know. And so I said, please forgive me up front for all the insensitive and uninformed things that I'm going to say in my sermon. I confess my insecurity. I confess my own sinful prejudice. And I said that I believe that God was leading the church, not just River Point, but the church into a post-segregation age. The second thing is I was intentional. I remember when the first African-American family visited River Point from a predominantly black church, I basically begged them to stay and teach me something about reaching people from different ethnic backgrounds. Well, they stayed, and we had coffee a lot, and Vaughn and Yolanda became part of our advisory team, and I learned so much about them. So from that point on, we've been very intentional about who we hire, about our leadership, about our staff, about who's on our stage, about our imagery and all of our videos, publications, and marketing pieces. You have to be intentional. And last, it was personal for me. 17 years ago when I moved to Fort Bend County, I didn't have a single friend who wasn't white, and I knew that was wrong. All my kids' friends from school, they came from every walk of life, but not in my world. So since that time, I've developed great friendships with people from all over the world. And I realized that in my small group, my Bible studies, my accountability groups, I need people with different perspectives from different racial backgrounds to stimulate my spiritual growth. Our church collectively has discovered that it's the people who are different from you who cause you to learn the most, think the most, and to change the most. Just about every Thursday morning, I have breakfast with a guy named Reggie Slater who grew up way different from me in Kashmere Gardens in inner city Houston. He's taught me that collectively we're the same. We all need a Savior. But he also taught me that we have different worldviews. It is Reggie, when I asked him, I said, Reggie, why do you come to River Point given that our worship isn't distinctively a black gospel expression? He said he learned a long time ago that not everything up at the church house was for him. Man, we had him tell that to our church. I never believed this would work because the simple fact is I grew up in an all-white neighborhood with a stepfather who had a lot of prejudice. But we see an amazing thing happening at River Point Church. So what's working for us is diversity in our church as well as in our livestock. That's what's working here at River Point.